One of the big problems with American education, specifically secondary in public schools, is you've got these curriculum designers, some of which were not very well educated themselves, and somehow they got into these positions via nepotism or their connections. And then they dictate the curriculum for teachers, and sometimes they are choosing textbooks where they have sweetheart deals and kickbacks and financial arrangements that nobody knows about. And then they're trying to tie the teacher to a textbook, which is oftentimes outdated, and they are not giving the freedom and the autonomy to teachers to teach current events in the news or to bring to bear true further insights as to the curriculum and the textbook itself. For example, this week I've been teaching ESOL students, which is students who learn English as a second language, and I can actually speak some Spanish, and I've been interrupted at least once by student teacher assistants who speak a little Spanish and tried to come in there and talk over me, and I said no, because I know the culture, and I've traveled from Mexico to Argentina, including Cuba and Venezuela, so I stood strong and said, please wait until I'm done, and then we can talk. But they walk into the class and sometimes try to interrupt me and talk to my students over me, and that's not going to fly in my classroom. And then you've got others who try to bind you. I've been in other counties where they'll try to narrow you down or hold you down to the curriculum, but the students don't always understand it. Sometimes it's written for college students, and these kids are in 8th or ninth grade, and they're speaking English at the second grade level, having only been in the country 1 or 2 years at most. And it's not realistic, it's not relevant, it's beyond their grasp. And sometimes the textbooks are so poorly written in Old King James English or some type of distant language or a form of expression that kids can't relate to. And then I'm teaching advanced placement psychology as well at the moment, and I'm dealing with clinical psychology and personality disorders and schizophrenia and other things of this sort, which I've personally encountered and dealt with through members of my family and others who I've counseled and traveled and spoken to around the world and had close encounters with it, interactions with. So I'm able to read the textbook and slow down and talk through it with my students and help them grasp the essence of what this is about versus merely teaching theory and vocabulary. And the students absolutely love it. The students absolutely love me and cry when I leave, but sometimes the curriculum designers or the test administrators or the curriculum coach who is over me, they're always looking for and fixated on test scores, which whether I'm there or not, the kids aren't going to perform outstanding on tests when they've only known the English language for a year or two, and the tests are at 10th, 11th grade levels, and they're nowhere near that. And even kids who were born in the United States, oftentimes since the pandemic and the lack of textbooks in schools, because that's a whole other topic. A lot of school districts are too cheap to buy textbooks. They all go online and they claim that that's better and that's more current because they're online and they're innovative. No, they're not innovative. They're cutting corners to save costs and save millions of dollars for their school district. And that's why even states, education boards within states are letting AI, artificial intelligence, and bots grade essays on standardized tests and not hiring graders because they save in Texas $7 to $10 million by doing so. Yet the students are, the majority of which in Texas now are Latino students, and English is their second language, and a lot of times they don't fully grasp it, and they may answer in Spanish or with slang, which flags their test and causes the test to have to later be hand graded by a grader, and the bot can't do it, and that causes there to be a form of discrimination and inequality. And then my other class that I'm currently teaching, world history, I've traveled to 90 nations. I've lived in Africa, Asia, Latin America, and Europe. I'm able to teach the global political economy. I'm able to teach so many different aspects of imperialism and things that are going on now with executive orders and the power shift from the Democrats to the Republican president and all the things pertaining to TikTok and the policy approaches and how the government gets involved in industry and intervenes. And a lot of times these administrators or these curriculum coaches who are PhDs, but they don't really know a whole lot besides, getting on the treadmill and following rules and procedures. They don't let the teacher sometimes freely teach and excel and expound upon their body of knowledge to inspire and engage students. And when that happens, the teacher typically leaves, and then they hire another robot who follows instructions, and the kids fall asleep and they disengage. So we need more school districts and educational leaders who trust their teachers and get out of the way and empower them and believe in them, and stop trying to saddle them to some outdated textbook or curriculum that's written by some bureaucrat at the district office who doesn't know much about the subject and cannot manage or engage students, oftentimes of multiple different cultures and languages and backgrounds, which the teacher can. So you either believe in the person that you hire, or you get out of the way and you take over and you try to teach yourself if you think you're the expert. So you cannot hire employees at a company and then micromanage them. And likewise, you can't do the same to your teachers. And if you do, they're going to leave because you don't pay them that well anyhow. And they're not going to deal with the aggravation and the frustration, because the kids love the teachers typically, and they're happy to learn from them. But when you, as the administrator, try to micromanage them, you're getting yourself in a sticky, precarious situation, because there's already a teacher shortage in this country, and teachers are getting paid better in other countries. Even Panama and Dominican Republic and countries in Latin America right now are paying more than the United States. So if the United States academic leaders can't get it together and better manage their teachers and trust them and empower them and get out of the way and believe in them and let them do their job, you're going to have a big, huge increase of shortage of teachers in the United States.